Hi, my name is Angelia Christian, and I've got four children. I will be 60 in December. A couple years ago, 2011, I decided I wanted to take my two daughters to Jamaica to know Jamaica, and we was in all inclusive. Everything was fine. I haven't visited Jamaica for 28 years, so it was really new for me going back. And we were in a lovely hotel. Things were going fine, and then the unthinkable happened. Near to coming home after 3 weeks, my two daughters was near drowning in the swimming pool. The oldest one was a heavy swimmer, but the youngest one was not a good swimmer, and it happens in the pool, the deepest part of the pool. But what happened, it took 2 hours for an ambulance to come. So I had to pay a private ambulance, and we went to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital because they didn't want to take any chance with my eldest daughter because she was having a seizure. So they had to go to the nearest hospital. So they went to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And I was really quite shocked at the state of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. I was shocked. I didn't know my country has become like this, because I remember having my first child in Jamaica. I would say the hospital was like how it was here at that time. And with no resources, the doctors were busy to save my daughter's life, the eldest one, Petra. My youngest one, Holly, she was quite traumatic because she's coming from London. She has never seen anything like this. So it's like she was hanging on my arm the whole time, shaking. She was shaking all the time, but I had to keep myself together with no help, no support. We did have one of the swimming pool divers came, but he was not allowed to come in the A&E department. And I was really shocked at the state of the hospital. To bring my daughter to theater on that night, they had to take this man off a really old-looking stretcher, and they placed him on a bench with every equipment on his body because it seems like he needs intensive care. And they quickly bring my daughter to make sure she didn't have any more waters in her lungs. And they really worked. It was marvelous. It was just how swift and how quick this doctor, I came to meet her later, Dr. Tanya, she's a twin. But they really worked fast to save my daughter's life. And after coming back into the A&E, I had to check my daughter's out because there was no chairs to sit on. There was no seats. People were sitting on the floor. It was in a really terrible state. There was no curtains. It was really jam in, packed. And it was a very bad experience because I nearly lost my two daughters. And I think because then I was working in the prison service and I'm used to seeing things, I was able to cope with my two daughters. I myself had to keep calm and try to help myself and help my daughter. Again, the doctors and the nurses, they were very mannerable, they were very polite, but I could not believe I said the hospital was like that. But anyway, I had to check my daughters out of the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning because we've been standing since the time they admitted her, which was about 2 o'clock midday, and we didn't have any place to sit. So I took the chance, took my daughter out. But then the next morning I decided, I was laying in bed and I said, Jesus, maybe you have brought me to this hospital for your purpose. I can't believe the hospital is like this. What is happening in my country, Jamaica? What is happening? Especially in a tourist resort area, because this is in St. Anne's, and St. Anne's Bay. So I called up the desk clerk and I asked them if someone could look after my daughters and if they could get me a taxi, which they did. And I went back to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. When I went, it was Monday morning, so where my daughters was, you can see that it was a busy weekend. It was clean. It was clean. The older man who they took off the stretcher, they had to also put him back on that stretcher. So he was back on that stretcher because they didn't have any more. And I asked if I could see the CEO, and they said yes. Walk around the hospital, and I must say to you, around the hospital was very clean. Outside the yard, it was very clean. There was no old thing hanging around or anything. So I find this little office, Mr. Richards, and I said to him, hi, I had a terrible experience here last night. I'm staying in in Club Caribbean, and my 2 daughters were nearly drowned, and we had to come here last night. But I was quite shocked at the state of the accident and emergency. He was very pleasant, and he said yes, they were having a tough time. It's really hard getting equipment, and you know, he's trying, but it's very difficult. It's just really, really difficult. So I said to him, well, you know, when I go back to UK, I'm gonna try and see if I can do a fundraising. This was on the 29th of October 2011. Came back to the UK, London. Didn't know what I was doing at the time. I'm in the prison service, so I had to ask permission from my governor. And I set about. I was telling everybody I'm gonna do a fundraising. I'm a believer. I go to PCF Church. Went in there, tell everybody, plan everything. I was phoning the hospital. I was phoning everybody. As I said, no idea what I'm doing. But then 6 weeks prior to the fundraising, I still didn't have anything. I didn't have anything. And I remember going to church, and elder in my church, mother, would say to me, you know, Angel, you must remember that what happened with your daughters is Christ working through you. And I said, yes, Sister Wood, you know, it's very, very hard. You know, I haven't received anything yet. Anyway, prior to that week, went back to work. I was at work where I was working in the local jail, took the prisoners then back, and I was very tormented because I still didn't have anything. The Jamaica Gleaner was helping me. They were advertising in the Jamaica Gleaner, and that was the help I was getting. And then we had Afro-Caribbean network woman, Dr. Yvonne Thompson. She also was trying to help me. So it was good to have 2 strong persons in London trying to help. Anyway, still didn't get anything, and I decided, you know what, I have to do something about it. So I had lunch break, and in the local jail, you know, they have churches upstairs. And I went upstairs, this was the Wednesday, 6 weeks prior to the fundraising, the 29th of June. And I kneel down in the church, and you know, although I go to church, it's very hard for me to pray. I'm not a prayer. But I kneel on my knees and I say, Father God, if I've done something wrong, please forgive me. Forgive me, Lord, if I'm doing something wrong. But you know, I need those things for St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And it's 6 weeks and I have got nothing, Lord. I've got nothing. And I was really praying out. I was crying to him. I said, God, and you know, upstairs in the jail, where I work, you have different religions. So you had the Car religion, the Catholic religion, the Church of England. You know, you had several religions, and they all hear me. They could hear me praying, because later on they said to me that they heard me. So on Sunday I went to church, and in my local church, I attend PCF. My pastor David Daniel was preaching, I think Ephesians 6, and he was saying that as Christians we shouldn't have fear. We shouldn't have fear. And you know, as I said, I was having fear. I was having really challenges. And he said, if there's anyone, I remember that Sunday morning, he said, if there's anyone who's having a challenge and who's having it difficult. And you know, my church was well packed, but actually I was the only one who went up. And my pastor Dave came down from the altar, and he was praying, but I didn't hear nothing what he was saying, but I could feel the salvation. It was, you know, I could feel the salvation. I could feel the clearance. Anyway, church was finished. Get up Monday morning. On my way to work, 7 o'clock in the morning, I was talking to God again. I said, please, God, you know, I really need these things. I say things at the time. I don't know what I'm gonna, but I just said I really need these things. Went to work on the Monday, took the inmates, nearly fall down and break my foot. I get up and I say, Satan, the blood of Jesus is against you, but I'm not going sick. So I finished my work. Everybody came to ask if I was fine. I said, yes, I was fine. I'm not going home. Came home on the Monday evening and my mobile phone was full up. Called a few numbers, but no reply. Then suddenly my mobile phone rang and said, hello. I said, hi, I'm from Buchanan's Foundation. My name is Phil, and I've got an ambulance. I said, well, I don't have any money. He said, no, the ambulance is free. This was like 6:30 in the evening. Praise God. I still kept quiet, didn't take his details. On the Tuesday morning, I went back to work again. I got an email from NERA, from Almerton Hospital, because I was bothering Almerton Hospital at the time. So I got an email from one of the managers in the estate department saying, look, if you can get an endorsement letter from Jamaica Hospital, then we can see what we can do. By 3 o'clock, I had the letter. And by 4 o'clock, Tuesday evening, I had 20 beds, 10 wheelchairs, 4 trolley beds, and I had 200 hospital sheets. That was a Tuesday evening. On Wednesday morning again, I have another lady phone me. Her name was Mistress Maureen Pollock. She said to me, hi, I heard your advert on SLR radio and I've got surgery chairs. And I said, surgery chairs? She said, yes, you know those chairs that they sit on? A dentist near me was closing down and I took all the chairs them in my living room. So if you want to have them, oh God, God is so awesome. She said, if you want to have them. And I said, yes, I'll take all of them. So that's Wednesday. Thursday morning, I was all bruised in my back, so I took off the day sick. And then I had another phone call from the ambulance man. He said, what about another ambulance? And I said, are you sure? And he said, yes. I said, 2? I said, you sure I don't have to give you any money? He said, no. Praise God. And I was, I didn't speak anything with him. I was so excited. I hung up the phone and I called Jamaica Gleaner, Mr. George Rullop. And I said, George, would you believe someone give me 2 ambulances? He said, did you have any information? I said, no. He said, Angel, hang up the phone. So I hung up the phone and I called back Phil Buckinghams. And within 5 minutes, the email came in because my laptop was open. There were 2 ambulances. There were all the hospital beds, equipment. So I called my Pastor David at about 11:45. And I said, Pastor Dave, I do not know what kind of prayer you pray, but today is Thursday. 5 days. And I've got over £50,000 worth of hospital equipment and 2 ambulances. And it was overwhelmed. I went back to work on the Friday and I was very excited. I was telling everybody what I had in 5 days, and it still didn't click to me until when I got up on the Sunday morning to go to work, and I was busy cooking my rice and peas, and I think, Jesus! I started to cry out to God because 5 days, and that's when I really believe that, the God we serve, He's great. And that's when it come to me that I have to say my purpose is work, because I realized I was chosen for that work. Well, it continued that I went to Jamaica on the 13th of April 2013, and I handed over 2 ambulances and £52,000 worth of hospital equipment to St. Anne's Bay A&E. It was in the media, it was in the papers, but it was such a joy. And you could see the joy, and the nurses, the doctors, they came from all over Jamaica. I remember the Kiwanis also had a dinner for me where they awarded me, and people come from all, doctors and nurses come from all walks of life, from Kingston to Montego Bay. The Almond Tree Hotel was full out. And that's when it hit me again that I have to be an humble servant of God. One of the Psalms I use to keep me going is Psalms 71, chapter 16. I will walk in the strength of the Lord, because it has been such a challenge. But then the work continued. The NHS, Dr. Odoramuna, I met a Mr. Rudy Page, and he said to me he's got a mobile blood unit. And I said, wow, this was 2014. What am I going to do with a mobile unit? At the time, I did not know that they were having maternal problem in Jamaica, that a lot of young mothers were dying because there was a shortage of blood. I didn't know. But anyway, I took the mobile unit. The Minister of Health in Jamaica, they didn't say much, but they were very excited to get this mobile unit. And it's only when I go back to hand over the mobile unit, I realized how big it was, how great it was to have this mobile unit. And it was an awesome feeling to know that I'm able to save lives. The mobile unit itself now, I hand it over January 2015. It's traveling the countries. It goes to Spanish Town once a month, and people are giving blood. And then this year again, 20 April, everything seems to happen April and October. I hand over another £30,000 worth of hospital equipment to the St. Anne's Bay A&E department. And since then, I must say the A&E department has been improved. I also got a company in Jamaica, Remax Elite, to refurbish the A&E May Labor Day this year, May gone. And it feels so good, you know, and I haven't done it alone, you know, it's just supporters, people from different churches. I've traveled from different churches, you know, and try to get, you know, outreach, try to get different Christian people to be involved, which they do. And it's been, you know, it's you know, I talk about it and I get excited, but this is one of the things I learned about serving our God, our mighty God, and how great He is. And if He wants to do something, He will just do it. So it's not about what you want or what you pray for. It's, you know, I used to pray for things, but I never get it. I never get it, but this one was for sure. And I'm celebrating 5 years this year, the 29th of October, at the Petchy Academy. I've also got another foundation in New York, Jaja Foundation, Dr. Dixon, a group of doctors. They have joined with me now. My website is www.angelfoundationja.com. So they have joined with me now. What we're trying to do now is make awareness of an ambulance drive for Jamaica, because there's no emergency service in Jamaica. And a lot of people is dying on the street because there's no emergency service. You know, they have accidents, people die on the road. There's no special emergency to pick them up. And this is my next task, what I'm trying to do now, you know, but not me, it's God working through me. So hopefully, listeners, if you're listening, you can support. The 29th of October, again, it's going to be a wonderful evening. It's at the Petchy Academy. I've got a international gospel entertainer coming from America. She buy her own ticket to come to support Corinne Wright. We have got the Jaja Foundation, Dr. Dixon's coming over. We also got Dervin Malcolm from Power 106 in Jamaica. It's going to be live broadcast. We have also got the Gospel Medianet, who is very interesting and is, you know, doing their part, and a lot of churches are involved, and I just want to continue the work. And you know, this 5 years as having me being more a humble servant of God, as having me more living obedient, as having me more, you know, more secret about the word. You know, you know, I fear God because of the experience what I have. I've nearly lost in my 2 daughters. I fear God, and sometimes I do make mistakes, but then, you know, He always showed to me what I'm doing wrong and what I shouldn't do. So He's always there to pick me up. And right now, I'm trying hard, you know, to live by the word. You know, sometimes even the thoughts, you make your sin, but I'm really, really trying. And if any one of my donors is watching, I really want to thank you. I've got Grace Foods UK and Victoria Mutual, 2 Jamaican companies who are standing beside me, and a restaurant, Junior's Caribbean Cuisine. I only want to tell them what I'm doing, and they just say yes. It was difficult getting them the first time, but now they just say yes, and I know it is the Lord. Yes, Lord, yes. And my website is www.angelfoundationja.com. If you want to get tickets, it's www.angelfoundationdonate.eventbrite.co.uk. So thank you for listening to me, and I hope I will see you on Saturday the 29th of October at the Petchy Academy in Hackney, London. Or you could give me a call on 0750 79 78029. That's 0750 79 78029. And thank you for listening, and God bless you.